The day has finally come. It looks like Embracer has fallen. Now, why am I so happy about this? Well, I never liked Embrace Group. I saw them as a roll-up. I just saw them as a company that was just acquiring so much stuff, so many game publishers, developers, they acquired Dark Horse Media, they acquired so much stuff, and they never really did anything with it. And with Embracer, they just kind of sort of like they kept trying to grow and expand and expand and expand, but they didn't ever make a profit. So it's sort of like you got to make some money in order to keep it expanding. Otherwise, because investors can't pay your bills forever. Because as we see, my other media companies, so what happens? So Gearbox Software, who's obviously one of their biggest acquisitions ever, it cost them like what $1.4 billion. Yeah, they might be selling that. So let's have a look. Gearbox, the studio most well known for the Borderlands franchise, is reportedly up for sale as parent company Embracer Group considers options to shore up finances, according to a September 11th Reuters report. For people familiar with the matter, told Reuters that the various third parties have expressed interest in purchasing Gearbox from Embracer Group, with the Sweden-based holding company working with both investment bank firms Ariman Co. and Goldman Sachs to explore a possible. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, Embracer Sweden based and Goldman Sachs. Obviously, Goldman Sachs, so there's a long history with them, especially if you look into stuff like Magnets Media made a video about something that they did where was it the 1MDB scam in Malaysia? Yeah. So let's see. Unnamed international gaming groups are among the likely buyers. However, Reuters anonymous. Okay, my bet. I'm just gonna put a bet here. I'm gonna put a bet here. I don't know how likely this is. But I reckon Tencent is one of the companies that's going to buy, that's making enough. I reckon, it's just because it's Tencent. Tencent has they own like every game company at this point. Literally, like, I don't get how Tencent got so big, but I reckon Tencent's involved here. So let's have a look. But obviously we don't know, so I assume it's going to be what, Tencent, Savvy Game Group, and a few others. This development comes after almost 2 weeks after Embracer shut down of Volition, a 30-year-old game studio responsible for open world shooter. It's Mayhem, the first-person shooter series Red Faction, an open-world action game series Saints Row. The holding company made a decision to shut up Volition and lay off its developers because of the failed $2 billion investment deal with the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, which fell through in May. That's something that wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, who owns Savvy Game Group, I wouldn't be surprised if they made an offer to buy Gearbox. I also wouldn't be surprised if someone like Sony made an offer. I'm hoping Netflix makes an offer or Sega, because to me, like logically, for someone like Netflix who's trying to get bigger in gaming, they need something like Borderlands in their portfolio, in their roster, because they haven't really got much. And then someone like Sega's obviously just bought Rovio, so I don't think they can really afford to buy Gearbox for such a high price. But it would be good if they want to try and have a bolt-on value, because Sega, I know I've got investment shares in Sega, so I need to disclose that. Sega might not have the money, but the stock can be used as a trading deal. Plus, Sega as well is obviously quite big. It's got quite good finances, but also I'll be honest as well, Sega needs something like Borderlands, because not being funny, Sega doesn't own a popular first-person shooter series, right? So Sega obviously already has Sonic, they have Persona, they have a bunch of other stuff, but they need to have that shooter, and Borderlands could be that shooter for them. But we'll have to wait and see. According to an August 31st statement from Volition on its sudden closure, the studio said the part of Embracer's restructuring program involved evaluating optional and strategic goals, which prompted the holding company to shutter the studio. Despite closing Volition and potentially selling off Gearbox Software, Embracer Group still owns quite a few companies. This includes publishers Deep Silver, THQ Nordic, developer company Sane Studios, developers publisher Saber Interactive, book publisher Dark Horse Comics, and game distributor Limited Run Games, among others. One of Embracer's large acquisitions was in October. Or last October 2022, when the company screwed up British. Wait, they own them. They own the British anime distributor Anime Limited. That's concerning that they own companies that I didn't even know they owned. But yeah, Embracer seems to have fallen, which to me, I love. I love the idea that Embracer's fallen, because not me for I did not like Embracer, and I do not like Embracer. I see them as a roll-up of a company. They are just a bunch of smaller companies that have come together to try and get bigger. Now, I know a lot of people, but any media company or game company or any company ever, they acquire what's below them. They acquire smallest to get bigger. That is true, right? And as someone who's obviously has a gaming channel about Netflix and talks about Netflix acquiring stuff, and also has this channel where I've talked about other stuff like Atari acquiring stuff, I just got to be honest and straight up, I don't like Embracer. I think Embracer got too big, too fast. They didn't prioritize making revenue first. So obviously, it's all right having revenue coming in from the games and all the stuff you do, but you might want to make a profit first. And also, Embrace has been a thing for like what I think they bought out THQ in like 2013, 2014, something like that. So it's been about a decade in existence, and they've just grown bigger and bigger, bought more and more stuff. So I'm actually happy to see them implode. People will probably say, but you want like Microsoft to get bigger, you want like Netflix to get bigger, you want these companies. Like, I'll be honest, I want game companies to get bigger or media companies to get bigger if I feel like there's value there and they can offer value to their consumers. Embracer has so much stuff. They had like 12 core divisions, most of which were gaming companies. I don't get why you need like 12 core publishers to be a gaming company. Like people bring up to me, oh, I think Microsoft should buy this game from. I don't care. Don't stop buying publishers. Right? If you already own like 2, 3 publishers, you don't need more. And that's what annoys me. Here we've got all these people like, oh, Embracer's not that big actually. Embracer only has 122 studios in the world. 122. Well, they had 122, but then they also own a comic company, a British anime distributor for some reason. They own limited run games. It's just madness. And I genuinely do hope that we're going to see companies feasting on Embracer. You know, watching Embracer just get split off and have stuff like Coffee Stain Studios, for example, and Goat Simulator go to someone like, I don't know, say they sell that to Microsoft, but then, you know, I don't know, Dead Islands goes to Sony, and then, you know, Saints Row, maybe someone can actually make a good Saints Row game again, because obviously the last one was just, it exists. It exists. It's not good, but it exists. Yeah, and also Borderlands, for example, like to me, I feel like Sega is the one that needs to get this. Sega needs to jump on Gearbox if they can afford it. If they can't afford it, let someone else do it. But hopefully not Tencent, because I don't really like Tencent either. Because Tencent just sort of like buys up so many game companies. It's kind of mad how big they actually are. I went through a list of stuff that Embrace actually owns recently, and there's so many game developers and publishers that they own stakes in or they own. It's just kind of crazy. Although I will say I would actually be open to see something like a Hail Mary or something where someone like say, I don't know, Take Two bought Embracer or EA or Ubisoft. I'm interested to see where this goes. Or maybe Gearbox just becomes independent again, because that's optional as well. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. What do you want to see happen to Gearbox? Who is your bet on who is going to buy Gearbox Software? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I've been EC, and I'm signing out. Peace.